You're watching YCN, your local view. Program airtime is underwritten in part by Bar Harbor Bank and Trust. Looking to purchase your dream home, finance your business, or just find a better checking relationship? Our New Hampshire team is here to help you. We make award-winning banking happen every day. Contact us to see how we can help you. Member FDIC.
Well, welcome. This is the February edition
of the Cougar Chronicle.
I can't believe it.
Time goes by so fast.
I know, it really
As you remember,
does.
Obviously the last one was very pointed.
Yeah, it was pointed.
For the audience, as you can tell, we are in a different location today.
Yes, we are with the high school.
We told you we were going to try to move
beautiful.
around. So in my day, back in
I'm
my
sorry.
day, it was the library, but this
Yes.
is the RC, the Resource Center.
Yes.
And so people that have gone to Kearsarge or the current students, this is where we are.
I know, isn't it great?
We've got a very
Love it.
exciting show
We do have
today.
a great show. But
Power play, secondary power
Yeah,
play.
so you have to tell me, what do you mean by secondary power
Today
play?
is all 6th grade and up power people. So when I talk about that, so we've got.
I love that.
So Steve Patterson, our middle school principal, is going to
Okay,
be joining
perfect.
us today. Charles Langille, our high school
great.
principal, is
That'll
coming.
be nice.
And
This
he's
is
got
gonna be
friends.
My third year.
He is I love his
We're going to
friends.
have a great
I was
opportunity
just
to
a
spend a little
regular
time with some
rep,
of our
and
student
then
I'm
council
so glad for
representatives
that, yeah.
and our school board reps. So we're going to
We
be
are
having teenagers up
busy.
here talking
But
about stuff.
Unfortunately, won't be here for the show because it's February and you didn't bring me chocolates. I mean, February, Valentine's Day,
I
people you
understand
care
that,
about and
but I have some
love.
explaining to do, so we'll just call it friendly February is what we're going to go with.
Absolutely. Hey, we're glad you're with us, and you know, we're here at the high school. The bell just rang, so it's so nice to have the presence of students, isn't it?
Never a dull moment around teenagers.
Never a dull moment,
Love
that's
it,
right.
love
Stay
it.
with us.
We'll see you right back here on the Cougar Chronicle.
Well, welcome back. I'm so glad you're with us here on Cougar Chronicle.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Another fun February
I know,
event.
can you believe February? And you haven't complained as much as I thought you would.
Well, it really, I tell you, the year has flown by.
It has.
And when you're having fun,
and
you know.
I meant not about school, I meant the weather. I've been waiting for you. I mean, really, you love your job, you're here every day, but you always wanted about that snow.
winter is
Not your
well,
favorite.
When you become a superintendent,
That's
the winter looks a little different.
It does.
On vacations, I love winter on
It's
vacations.
true.
It was
It's true.
wonderful. Got all the snow and the
Yes.
ice.
Yes,
and
all your
that stuff
pictures of,
happened when I didn't
up
have
in
to
the
worry about
whites and-
calling
yeah.
off school. But that's
Yes.
really the big thing. We've
Right.
talked about that
It's
a number of
true. All
times. It's
joking
just
aside.
it's the stress of the go no go.
Right.
Late start
Exactly.
and no late start.
Exactly.
The safety pieces that come around that, making those decisions, and you know you don't really have a. I don't know how to say it in a colloquial way, but I think a lot of it is that you almost have to guess right.
You do, yeah, because you don't know,
You
I
know.
mean, wait a minute, the conditions will change,
And
right? So you make that call.
In New Hampshire,
and,
that has happened.
Yeah.
And you also, we talked jokingly about the whole thing, is that, you know, again, it could be sunny and clear
Yes,
in Warner,
right.
and it is pounding snow
in Springfield. Yeah, exactly.
On that
it's
side
so true.
of the
yeah,
mountain.
we've
So-
experienced it, exactly.
Yep, it's
I
been a
know.
lot of fun. But no, winter has been good, and you know, the old whatever superstition the old football
That's right.
coach has.
That's right.
Knock on wood, the winter has been kind to us, and
It has
and
been,
here's the thing:
yeah.
at the end of the day, it's going to be what it'll be.
Right, exactly. Things we don't have control over,
So
right?
speaking of kind to us, let's talk
Yes,
about our guests
absolutely.
here. So we've got Mr. Steve Patterson, who's our middle school principal. Hello, sir.
Steve.
Hi.
Welcome.
Nice to see you. So I will tell you that Steve's been with the district for a number of years. And
I think this is my 11th.
11th.
Year in the building. Yeah.
Blink of an eye.
It does, yeah.
Yes,
really
blink of an
fast.
Paul's the high school or the middle school principal.
Middle school,
The whole
yeah.
time there. And I will tell you that Steve and his staff are doing some pretty amazing things. And so
Yes.
I really wanted to get him to the Chronicle to talk about some of those really
Yeah,
exciting stuff.
interesting stuff, yeah.
Because here's the beauty of it, and I think this is kind of the neat thing, is the middle school is that it's that
Mm-hmm.
tweener type of thing. You know, we're not elementary.
It's a scary place for
You're
Mrs.
not,
James.
but you're also not taking credits like what you have with the high school.
That's right,
So
exactly.
when we talk about a couple of things I really was hoping Steve could talk about. Really, number one was UDL, and I'll let you kind of go through the acronyms and deal with
Right.
that. But then the also thing is that the middle school is doing a great job with competency-based education because they can live in the true philosophy of the whole thing. So,
Right, yeah.
you know, as we go from there, so, you know.
It's been a big transition
It has
for a lot of folks.
In 7 words or less, wrap it up.
Good luck.
Don't you love that?
As we go through.
And I can put it in a book. And we'll be
So
There we go.
here's the thing, though. Before we really get going, if you would, take a minute, just kind of talk about your journey that brought you to Kearsarge, if you don't mind. He's got
Yeah,
such
I
an
like
interesting
that.
story.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't start teaching until I was 29 or 30.
Okay.
I went skiing for about 8 years after
Oh,
college.
well done,
and
well
It took a
done.
while to get settled enough to be a teacher and be mature enough.
Sure.
And then I became an assistant principal at a middle school in Colorado, and then a principal in Colorado, and then I was offered the opportunity to go overseas, and I was a principal and then head of school at an international school in Cambodia.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. It was super exciting, life-changing
fascinating.
for me. I met my wife and my family, and
Yes.
when the time was right, we decided that we wanted to come back to the States. And I had gone to UNH, family that grew up in New Hampshire. My mom grew up in New Hampshire, and so this was a place that we looked at. At the end of the day, we were looking for a place that'd be great to raise our kids.
Sure.
So I have 2 daughters that graduated from Kearsarge, and I have a son who's in my building now, much to his chagrin.
Yes, right.
And but my daughters are thriving. Kearsarge
That's wonderful.
Gave them everything they needed to be successful, and
great.
they're doing great. And one is actually a teacher at the high school now, which is super exciting.
That's so much to be proud of.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Pretty neat.
yeah.
Again, you could just dive a whole
Yeah.
segment on
Oh,
just his story,
your
the
background,
stories that he's
yeah.
got and things like that.
I got plenty of stories, but we won't go into
Me
that.
too. Great stories, actually.
So let's start with UDL. What is UDL,
Sure.
and how is it getting used at the middle school?
So UDL stands for Universal Design for Learning, and it
Okay.
came out of a group from Harvard in the mid-'80s. And David Rose was one of the key players in that. He's got ties to New Hampshire. And it really is a mindset. So UDL is not a script. It's not a set of steps you can follow. And the basic premise of it actually comes from architecture. And the idea is that in the design process, if you design to accommodate everyone, you'll have less changes or modifications that you need to do later. And if you think about that as from a building
Makes sense.
perspective, you know, where are we going to put ramps in the beginning? Can people access this? Are the passageways wide enough? When we think about it for education, it really starts in the planning phase.
Okay.
And it does have to do with mindset, and it's opening our minds up to see all the different possibilities that kids might encounter as they go through the learning journey.
You know, Steve, my question was going to be, was it a transition for teachers? But that's not at all, because that's what
What they do.
they do. We do.
It's really interesting. So differentiated instruction was the catchphrase for many years.
Yes.
And that's a component
Gotcha.
of UDL.
Back in the day, that's what we always
But
talked
really,
about.
it
differentiated
starts before they get the kids in the classroom. And what our teachers discovered, we've had several people come in from CAST, which is an organization that helps schools become better at UDL.
Okay.
And we had Dr. Angela Burke come in twice now to the middle school. And what our teachers have discovered is a lot of the things they were doing fit really well into the UDL model.
That's great.
But it's never done. Again, there's no check boxes that you can hit to say, oh yeah, we've got this UDL thing down. It's constant.
Yeah.
They give you really a guiding set of principles. They were just revised about 1.5 years, 2 years ago into
Okay.
2.0. And you really are always looking for ways to incorporate more to UDL practices into your work. And it can be something as simple as, if I have a reading assignment in a science class, I can give it at 3 different levels and let the kids choose what level fits best with their reading level while still getting the same content. It can
That's
be
awesome. Yeah.
providing different graphic organizers for kids to organize their thinking and present their learning. But you provide them to everyone, and there's a lot of student choice involved. And it also focuses a lot on engagement. So providing activities that are meaningful and engaging for kids are going to get better participation, better learning out of it.
And it's student-driven.
It's very student-driven.
Right, and so they're invested, right?
Which folds right into our competency-based education model that we've taken on for
Right.
a number of years.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, this is my 11th year in the middle school. And in my first year, we talked about the middle school needs to move towards a competency-based model. The second year, we got a small group of teachers together to really unpack it.
Okay.
And we had the luxury that many schools don't of time. And so in my school, we took it very slowly. We did a lot of research, a lot of talking to other schools, other practitioners, to find out what are the best practices and how would that look in the Kearsarge Regional Middle School. We came out with our model. We were ready to kind of move ahead, and COVID happened.
There we go.
And
Step
to
or
my
two
staff's
back.
credit, COVID was, as we all know, super
Yeah.
challenging, demanding for kids, for teachers. But our staff kept the progress going. They worked really hard during that time to write the competencies, to vet them, to start to think about what that looks like in the classroom. And we put that in place. It's still, much like UDL, it's never going to be something where we can check the box and say we're done.
Right.
But we worked on assessment, we worked on student feedback, and then we bring in UDL in to help us with the planning and the instructional side of it, because they really do marry well together.
That assessment piece is huge, isn't it,
And
John?
you think also about, like, for kids being able to choose how they want to
Oh, yeah.
show
How
what
wonderful.
they're understanding.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's pretty awesome is, as kids get more confident in their
Right.
skill set,
Right.
we are seeing that they're choosing more rigorous, more difficult
Because they want a challenge?
assessments
Yeah, and I
because
think-
they want that push.
You know, there's a lot of misperceptions about
A ton.
competency-based education out there. And one of them is that kids don't need to learn basic facts. They're still going to have to know their math facts. They're still going to
Right.
need to get a spelling list and know vocabulary. But it's really, hopefully, taking it further.
Right.
And so it's not enough just to pass a vocab quiz. How can we use that word? How can we make it more authentic? And that's a work in progress also, because we ask teachers who've been, I've got a great veteran staff, and they are amazing, but we're asking them to look at things a little differently. And
Okay.
you know, any of us that have been doing this for a while, that can be challenging,
Yes.
because you're challenging their mindset again.
Right.
But by and large, our teachers have embraced it. They're working hard to try to incorporate both the UDL practices we discussed, but also more competency-based education practices into their learning and the activities that they plan for kids. And I think it's going well. We're always pushing forward. Our staff is committed to making it work and to doing it the right way.
And they're pushing out, and like on you know, above and below, to really in a very positive way. And when we talk about things that are going well, I think it's always good to spend a little time on some of the struggles that we've had. I know one of the big struggles that we've been battling is reporting. Is when we look at the competency-based grading model, and just competency education, is how do we get that information in a format, in a setup, so that way it's easy to understand for our parents, that it also is easily manipulated as far as like engaged with by our teachers, getting in information to provide feedback to the students, so that way
Right.
they understand what's going on. And what we're finding is, it kind of doesn't exist. So we've been having to kind of piecemeal some stuff. So that's been a real big struggle. The elementary school just rolled out their elementary version
Okay.
of the competency-based report card. The high school still has its struggles because, of course, the big thing, because competency-based ed looks somewhat different. So some of the battles that we see is, how does competency-based grading translate to the old traditional grading?
Right.
And we want to make sure that we're not getting in a situation where anything that we're doing as far as a district philosophy and a district instructional process has a negative impact on the kids' potential for future growth.
Right, exactly.
And so that's been
It's been hard. I think we designed our model based on what we thought was best for learning, and we went out. We got information from a variety of sources. We visited schools. We talked to schools around the country, and we put that together in a model that we think in the long run is going to be best for students and for their learning.
Okay.
That didn't translate well to a computer program, because one of the biggest things we've come up against is we don't average. There's a lot of talk about why averages are bad and actually can be detrimental to student growth.
Interesting.
We
Okay.
try to promote a growth mindset, and we do that through providing students feedback. And in our journey as a school in CBE, we actually didn't discuss grades and grading for a long time, because it gets in the way of what you're really trying to accomplish.
right.
And so in the middle school model, we report out, because as John said, we're not credit-based. So we have some luxuries
That's
the high
right.
school doesn't
It does not
have,
have,
right?
exactly.
Yep.
We give feedback on each individual competency. Each competency, we can get into the weeds with this, but each competency has
It's
3 to
fascinating
5
stuff.
learning
Yeah, it is.
targets that are more specific, that feed into it. Kids will get feedback, really targeted, growth-oriented feedback based on the learning targets. But that's a lot of information for parents. So parents see overall reporting on the competency itself. We do not average those together to give a final course grade, because that
Gotcha.
dilutes the really specific feedback and growth-oriented feedback that we want to give kids as part of their learning process.
So Steve, we're getting the 30-second signal.
Okay.
And I know, and we
I'll
could,
go on all day.
I have to tell you, no, Mike could sit here and listen all day, because this is what learning's all
Well, and
about.
you think about it,
right?
we talk about, I mean, we have the luxury of having administrators that are students of what they do every day.
That's right, exactly.
And Steve has traveled to Washington, D.C. to the national conference to things. Anything that he can do that you've done, and talk about you in front of you, to make his own skill set better, but also to improve his ability to provide feedback to his teachers and make a difference in kids' lives has been a big
It's
thing.
been 10 seconds for parents, a message?
Well, I just want to say thank you. You know, I talked a lot about our teachers and how their resilience and their determination to make this work for kids, but our students and our parents have been incredibly patient, because we're not perfect. And they've been understanding. They've worked with us along the way. They've given us great feedback.
Yes.
And I mean that in all sincerity. They really have helped us become better. We still got a ways to go, but we'll continue down that path and keep the journey going, because I think in the end, it's really what's best for kids.
Steve, thanks for lifting the veil on that.
Pretty
You know,
awesome.
it really is. Thanks for being here and all you're doing.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
you.
Take care.
Yeah, so coming up, we have another segment that I'm excited about.
It'll be a fun one. Anytime we get to hang out with
Oh,
young
it's
people
wonderful.
and get
Yes.
some of the energy go from there.
Yes,
So
yes, exactly.
It's going to be as always, these shows are always an adventure and a journey.
They are. So thanks for being with us, and thank you for being with us too. Stay with us. We'll be back right here. Well, welcome back to Cougar Chronicle. I'm so excited about this segment.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
they're all so much fun, but
They are.
this one is particular. Old high school principal.
Yes.
Old high school teacher. Old high school social studies government teacher.
I know.
So
It all fits in.
comes, you know, this is it. This may be my last segment. No. As we go from here. So great. We gotta start off. We got Mr. Charles Langille, who's our high school
Welcome. So
principal.
glad you're here.
Glad to see you.
And thank you,
for
yeah,
having
for
me.
having us.
And he has friends. Now, and I mean that bigger in a bigger sense, but he brought friends with him here.
Yes.
And so we'll
Wonderful
talk about some of the
friends.
things. So we've got a few areas that we can go. Number one is that obviously we've brought multiple folks in
Right.
from the high school, all the really cool stuff that's happening in your building every day. Talk about some of those things. But the piece that I really want to highlight is, as we'll talk a little with high school, but kind of highlight too will be our school board reps
Right.
and our student government, our student council, which are very, again, to me, from the Missouri guy, are unique. And
Right.
we'll kind of get into that.
It's
whole
old
thing.
hat for those of us who've been around
but
for a
we
while.
go through, but
I
and
didn't
there's been a
realize
chance
it's
to talk
not.
to some of those representatives.
Yeah, it's
and go
awesome.
From there.
So awesome.
Okay, so start off first, as we do with anybody, your journey. Talk real quick.
Okay.
What kind of your
How'd
journey
you get here?
and what brought
Yes,
you
exactly.
How we got here.
Everybody's got such a great
Yeah.
story.
I love backstories.
Yeah.
Love them.
I went back to college 6 years after high school, and I took a weird, rough journey. But high school is a place most people don't realize is I never liked. It wasn't good enough for me, and I wanted to make a difference.
Wow.
And
That's
so I started
great.
out in a school, and they said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I don't know. I really enjoy art." They're okay. Well, maybe you'll be an art teacher. And so I started in that journey, but really it was, in my passion was being a school counselor. Because if it wasn't for mine, I probably wouldn't have graduated high school. I might not even be alive today. There was an English teacher and my school counselor that I owe a lot to. And so every day when I get up, those are people I think of. And I struggled with mental health and other issues when I was in high school.
Sure.
And so I wanted to give back. So I started out there. But then as I went in my journey, I realized there was a lot of red tape that kept happening. And I wanted to make a difference. And I had people encourage me to get into administration to try and see if we can change some of that red tape and make sure kids got what they needed. And so I got into administration, started out in director of school counseling, moved into an assistant principal role, and then came here just in COVID, just as COVID was wrapping up
Wow.
in 2021,
Yep.
first class graduating.
Sounds like you have a lot of empathy.
Yes.
Empathy is so, yeah, and it's an age where that's what we need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
No, Charles has done a great job of spearheading a lot of programming.
Oh,
You know,
without
we
a
talked
doubt.
earlier about some of our mental health stuff. We had Christine Turcott, who was one of his school counselors, that program a few episodes ago.
Yes.
And things like those things. So obviously mental health becomes a big deal. And as we look at pathways and scheduling and programs
That's
of
right.
study and all the fun
Yes.
things that happen from there. So, all right, I know we're going to, at some point, we'll talk school board reps, and I know we'll talk student council.
So excited.
We've had multiple people on the show that have talked about things at high school. What is some stuff that you're particularly proud of going on today?
Our students, hands down, are some of the nicest students that I've ever worked with or seen. And they're passionate and compassionate about people. They really care. It drives a lot of conversation. Not everybody always gets their way, but a lot of conversations happen. And they truly are young adults here. They don't act like your typical high school students. So it's interesting that often we'll end up in conversations that you might have with colleagues, and you feel like that's what you're having because of the level of intellect as well as the
Yeah.
compassion that those kids have.
That's, you can't ask for anything more than that.
No. And that's, to me, that's the biggest thing to be proud of in this district, because it goes back to also our community, because we know our families are raising them that way, and then our teachers are helping educate and blossom that into something new. And so that's really the thing I'm most proud of. I mean, we got some really exciting things going on, you know, from our robust ELO program that you already heard about, with our kit car program, our theatrical department, our performing arts, the new
Unmatched.
choir this year, chamber choir. I mean, I think they could get recorded and sell albums. They're that good.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I'm
really
trying
is.
to get
something
that
to
crew
come
to the
see.
board meetings too.
Oh,
by
there
the
we
way.
go.
Trying to
Okay.
work
Oh,
on
I'd
that
love
part.
that.
They wanna be
Love that.
entertained.
I'd actually will come in person for that one instead of
Okay.
zooming in.
I'll let you know.
I'd
I'll
say
let you
about
know.
35–40% of our students are involved in the performing arts throughout the course of the year.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Almost 50%
That-
of the students are involved in sports every
huge.
season.
That's
Yeah.
huge.
A lot of involvement.
Participation.
There's a huge number of opportunities within the school,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is awesome. So now let's talk about the other, where people can get involved. So we're going to start off talking about the school board rep position. And so we
Yes.
have two of them. One of the things that I don't know if people realize that in school districts in New Hampshire, the position is protected and was invented through an RSA. Now, the school board rep existed before the RSA.
It did,
But it's
yes.
been codified. So it literally is in law by New Hampshire state law
Isn't that
we
cool?
have to have
That's
that.
really cool,
So that is
yeah.
an elected by the high school students.
by the students.
Those are elected positions that have
What a great experience.
legal statute.
Yes,
And
exactly.
so we have two of them. We have a junior and a senior. We'll spend a little time with them. And they are. I love that position because what a great voice.
Oh,
and what's such
absolutely.
a great opportunity.
So it's the highlight to me of the school board
Well,
meeting.
it's so much fun.
Really
and
is.
it's such a great venue and a platform for them to talk about what's happening within the school. But also, if there are concerns, those are the people that get
Right.
to bring their
Right.
direct voice to the school board, and thus the school board rep kind of piece.
Right.
And I will tell you that in the time that I have been here, our school board takes their voice very seriously.
They do, absolutely.
And love asking questions and opinions, and love what do you think, and how do you view
And you
these
know,
kind
if
of
you attend the
things?
meetings, it's not done in a condescending way. It's just
no.
it's like another colleague sitting there, and it's wonderful.
They are an
School board
official
is
extension of the school board,
it's
really.
amazing. Talk about accountability,
Yeah.
taking responsibility.
So
It's
we'll spend a little
wonderful.
time we'll kind of take a break and
I'm so
step back
distracted
from
by
a
all our
second.
wonderful
There's
students who
all
are
these things
here.
going on. So that's the first part of it. The other thing we'll talk about and we'll dig into is our student council.
Sounds
which,
good.
Which for
I'd love that.
Kearsarge High School is a true student government. And I'm talking a lot more than Mr. Langille because I just get so excited about this.
He does, Charles. Sorry about that. Does that with me
Oh,
too.
he does.
You're in
Get me
good
going and I'll
company.
do
Super fan. I'm a super fan.
Totally.
But our high school our student council has an officially board-approved constitution.
See, I didn't even realize that until the school board meeting where it was approved.
Yes, and
was
so
amazed.
we think we're one of what?
One of at least three. That's it. I don't think there's
Three?
many more than
One,
that.
two, three?
In the state
That's
of New Hampshire.
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
And with
incredible.
that comes rights and responsibilities, and these kids are very serious
Yeah, they are.
about student council.
They are.
And I will tell you that there was when I did my interview and got brought around, one of what became the student council president last year was very I went to a student council meeting before I had even started.
Wow.
Invited me up, had a chance
love
to get
that.
asked questions by the
Yes.
students, and it wasn't it was very, what is your opinion on certain things like competency-based education? I had a
Right.
great question on how do
Very
we
succinct.
get better voice within the school district? How do
Good.
we as students have the ability to get a seat at the table?
Gotcha.
And very, very insightful, awesome questions. So we'll spend a little time
Can't wait.
with those kids and
Yeah.
have Charles
Thank
sit
you.
down.
Thank you for giving the time to our students to come here and spend time with us too.
So I think what
We're
probably our
grateful.
best
Okay,
bet to
so
do
I'm gonna
is,
say
here's my
goodbye.
thought is,
I'm
well,
walking over
we
here.
will and we won't. We'll kind of be in and out. So we're going to transition. So
Sounds
we'll take
good.
a step back.
I'm gonna
when
go
we
grab the
come.
microphone.
Yes, and when we come back, we'll be talking with
Can't
our
wait.
students.
So yeah, stay with us here in Cougar Chronicle. It's a good one.
It's going to be fun.
Welcome back to Cougar Chronicle. I am so excited. We are here with our school board rep.
So I'm Leah Stone. I'm a senior here at the high school. I've been the school board rep for 2 years now. I started in my sophomore year, and yeah.
Leah, I've seen you so many times, but I'm always on Zoom. So it's nice to meet you in person.
Nice to meet you as well.
Yeah,
Thanks
so-
for having me.
Oh my goodness. We're so glad you're here. What made you decide to get involved?
Yeah, so actually, my 10th grade English teacher, Mr. Lee, shout out to him, he suggested the position to me. I wasn't even aware that we had that position in this school. But he noticed that I really cared. This is when we were going through a transition period with our grading system, and we were talking about switching to competency-based and 4-point scale. And he noticed that I really cared, and he was like, Leah, if you want to get your voice out there, here's a position for you. And I was like, awesome. So yeah, I jumped on it, and it's been amazing.
That's wonderful. Not bad on college applications, but I know that's not why you did it.
Well, that's definitely an added benefit, but
does
yes.
help. And Mr. Lee's great. He's retired now, but he had taught my children all those years ago. So I'm so glad you got involved. What have been some of the big issues you've been brought forward to the board?
So I would say the biggest issue that we had was definitely with the grading system and just the transition from that, especially for our students and parents as well. But another one was the transgender sports ban law that came into play. That was very heartfelt for our girls' soccer team, so that was something that we had to navigate through. And then I would say another big issue was the proposed budget cut, and
Right.
also trying to give some student perspective on how detrimental that would have been. So yeah.
You know, Mia, and you've had to learn a big lesson is that you have to be objective because even if your views don't fit the view of the population, you're representing the school. Is that correct?
That is correct. I may not always agree with what my fellow students think, but it is my job to report what the general consensus is because it's not just my opinion, it's a school-based opinion. And also, I feel like that is a really important thing for someone to be doing because ultimately education is for the students and we do deserve to have a say in it. So I think it's a really unique position and opportunity.
And you know, the superintendent explained, I mean, this is required by law. You are there for a reason. But we had reps prior to that too.
Yes, that is true. So yeah.
What do you see? This is your senior year.
Yes.
So what do you see that would be significant and important for you as you finish up your term?
Okay, right now I think there's a lot of just cool stuff going on with our clubs, with NHS, sports. We're having a great year. So I think just like making the board aware of the good things that are going on is really important to me, especially because the last 2 years have been kind of tumultuous. I think it's
Sure.
important to highlight what's going on. So that's what I'm focusing on right now.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm so proud of you because when I go to the meetings, you're professional and kind and upbeat. And so thank you for your time serving.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
She's our representative for the students here at Kearsarge at our school board meetings. Thanks so much. We are here with the Kearsarge Regional School District High School Student Council. How was that? Good introduction, right? We're going to play Pass the Mic and have everyone introduce themselves. So let's start. That's okay.
Hi, I'm Grace Tangy, and I am Student Council President.
I'm Heath Goslin. I'm a junior, and I'm Student Council Vice President.
I'm Lexi Gent. I'm a junior, and I'm the Student Council Treasurer.
I'm Jack O'Reilly. I'm a junior, and I'm the Student Council Secretary.
Oh, that's great. Thanks so much. So this is a great organization. You have a big impact on the school, yes?
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
What are some things you're working on right now?
So currently we are working on planning our winter carnival, which is a big event. It's a school-wide event where all the grades come together to do some little competitions. And I think this is really great for our school because it definitely gets everyone involved, and it's something that we kind of treasure here, and it's kind of special to our school. Not a ton of other schools do it, so I think that's really exciting.
Oh, that's wonderful. You know what I'd like to do, if it's okay, maybe go around and say how long you've served for and, and why you decided to get involved.
Okay, so I have served for, this is going to be my 3rd year. I joined my sophomore year, and I was just a regular rep, and then my junior year I ran for vice president, and then I am a senior this year and I ran for president. I kind of originally hoped to join the council my freshman year, but I just needed kind of that transitional period that some freshmen need, so then I ended up joining my sophomore year and have been on ever since.
So this is my 3rd year. I joined in my freshman year. I joined because I want to go into political science, so I wanted to learn how to represent constituents and how to better improve government systems. So improving the grading system within the school, having a voice, that's been very impactful for me.
This is also going to be my 3rd year. I joined my freshman year as well. I have always liked the idea of being able to voice people's opinions and making sure everyone feels heard, and I really feel like student council helps me do that.
This is my 2nd year. I also joined as a sophomore, like Grace. When I was a freshman, I sort of thought student council was kind of just like every other school's, where we sort of just existed because it felt like we had to and we didn't hold any actual power. But I was lucky enough to be placed in a geometry class with Heath and Grace, and they sort of enlightened me as to how that actually worked, and I was able to join and really make a difference.
Heath and Grace, you're president and vice president, I should say, right? It seems like everyone gets along, yes?
Yes, correct. Yeah. I think we have a really tight-knit group, and it definitely benefits our school.
And if you're going to political science, Heath, that's pretty significant.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what I want to do, but I know I want to work in the government, so it's definitely been a great opportunity for me.
And it's interesting, we were speaking earlier with the superintendent, you have a constitution that's been, and I was at the meeting where it was approved. Was that a big process?
So I ran the governance committee last year. It was a big project. We'd been working on it since September. So what we do is we look at the old constitution and we look at areas that we could benefit or things that aren't working for us. And then we do several review and revision processes throughout the year, and then we end up presenting at usually the last meeting of the year with the school board.
And, Heath, I was at the meeting where you were having it approved, and you really fielded a lot of questions. Was that difficult?
It was difficult, but I'd worked so hard on the amendments, so I knew how to answer them, and I try to be as well-spoken as possible, so.
And you did a great job. I was very impressed because, you have a school board looking at you and asking you very detailed questions. That's not easy. So I have to ask you, why should students get involved? Everyone's, on the other end of service here, and you're going to lead this, a legacy to new students. Why should people, in the students get involved?
So I think getting involved is kind of a great way to not only connect with your peers, but connect with the general community. Something that we really pride ourselves on this year is getting out into the community and attending a lot of events. So in the fall, we have our homecoming, which is when all the sports teams have games on a Saturday, as well as all the classes will have like food booths lined up and some clubs. And I definitely think this is one of our bigger events. And so as student council, we will go out and we usually end up selling ice cream, but we also will help do like announcements and help everyone stay kind of organized. And this is kind of just one of many events that we do. And I think getting involved in student government is one of the ways you can get out in the community, but I also think that it helps you have a bigger voice and helps you connect with your peers on like another level, kind of having that connection to the admin team and the community.
That sounds great. And I think that's absolutely correct. It's a way to get involved in the community and a way to be involved. As a mom of kids who came through Kearsarge, student government helped them tremendously. So I think that will be a great step. Okay, anyone can take this question. I want to end up with Winter Carnival. What should I be looking to do there?
Yeah, Winter Carnival is a lot of fun. If you're around, we hold it in the gym. I highly recommend getting out into the stands with the classes. It can get kind of rowdy sometimes. But it's a ton of fun. We hold theme days. Everybody's all dressed up, so pay attention to the theme day. Come in dressed up. And, I mean, if you're watching this, you're a freshman, 8th grader coming in, definitely get involved. It's going to be weird your first year. Everybody thinks it's like your first year here. Everybody thinks it's like kind of weird. You know, we have theme days and people are like playing games on the gym floor and stuff. But it's really like people get really into it. It's a ton of fun. It's very competitive. So yeah, just kind of immerse yourself. Like even if it feels wrong, just get into it.
Jack, that sounds great. Well, it sounds like a lot of fun, and it's a combination. It's a great crew. It's fun, but it's serious. So thank you so much for the time that you're spending, in support of your fellow students and our community. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, it's been our pleasure. So we've been speaking with the student council from the high school, and I asked if there was a formal name, but you know what? It's nice and simple. Kearsarge Regional School District High School Student Council. Great job, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And we'll be back in Cougar Chronicle. Stay with us.
The first one on the circle. So the first one out of the circle, yes. But our students.
Well, welcome back to Cougar Chronicle. Oh my goodness, what a great
How much fun
group
did
of
you
young
have?
people. Oh my, I loved it. Every minute
They
of
are
it.
so,
Charles?
did I kid me?
Oh,
Such a
they
great
are an
group of kids.
amazing,
Yeah.
so motivated, so positive, so upbeat, and they love their school.
You
They
can
love
see why
their.
I'm so proud of them.
Oh, I can't
Great
thank
kids.
you enough.
Just-
They are just great kids.
I'm
yeah.
telling you. And now do you get why I'm a super fan?
Yeah.
Like, hello?
He's a total super
how do you
fan.
How do you not
Yeah.
just,
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I was speaking to colleagues. I'm old. And they're young people starting out in their life, and they were just so positive.
they have a
Charles.
vision.
Yes.
They're
We have a
engaged
future.
and involved.
Yes,
I
we
mean,
do
like,
have
yeah.
a future. Thank you.
If that's an example, yeah, truly,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
the whole
Hope.
piece of that.
Give me some hope.
So talk about, okay, so well, obviously when we talk about Leah and Cooper, who's our other board rep who's not here today, you have meetings with them. And I know you're talking with those kids because they're
Yeah.
every 2 weeks.
They're always
twice
at
a
the
month
meeting.
they're going
I
on.
know.
But let's talk about student council because that one's such an interesting, fascinating one
It
to me.
is, yes.
How are you engaging with student council? How does their voice translate to possible votes in certain situations?
Yeah. So a great example is our change to the grade scale that you were talking about earlier.
Okay.
The students at first a lot of them were confused. Some of them understood it. They had a lot
Right.
of questions, and they really pushed us to think. And they did it in a respectful manner. Asked for a meeting, and they came to the
Good for
table
them,
and asked a lot
yes.
of questions. And we spent several hours after school with them. These are kids that could have been doing anything else, and they gave up 2 hours on the afternoon to come and meet with us. And they have challenged us, and it's
Yes.
a good thing because whenever we're challenged, then we can rethink things through and better formulate communication to help inform people. That's been one of the biggest impacts that they've truly had. The other place is, since then, every time anything comes up that looks like a change, a possible change,
Right.
they want answers. And so it forces us to early on communicate about, for instance, this year we added junior privileges to the senior privileges.
Interesting,
And they
okay,
wanted to know.
yeah.
Some of the seniors were like, well, how come I didn't get those as
Right.
juniors, right? And so they helped us navigate, explaining
waters.
those things through. And, how we utilize flex periods. They've had a big voice in that. They also keep the touch of the student council has of let's have some activity time. And you heard
Gotcha.
about the Carnival
Oh,
Week coming up
so
with their
fun.
planning.
Yes.
They took an instrumental position this year in helping with our homecoming and the booths and things like that. So they work hand in hand with administration, making sure that these things have timing available, space available, supervision, and things like that. And they step up to volunteer to help do all the grunt work.
And as I asked the question earlier of why should future students get involved, they didn't say, well, I, me. They said, well, if they're feeling like this, if they're thinking this, they took the focus off themselves.
Yes.
It's a very
It was
much a collective group.
amazing.
And that group is involved with all kinds of stuff. I mean,
They were great.
Student council was involved with child care for deliberative sessions.
Yes.
Is that accurate?
Yes.
So when we have the last two pieces like that, they're really diving in. I mean,
Right.
we had a need. We presented it
How
to,
can we
to,
help?
to Mr. Langille.
Right.
He went to student council, and they're like, absolutely, we'll make it
see,
work.
that's
2 years
amazing.
In a row now. 2 years in a row.
That is, and yes, and 2 years ago, whew, that was a big one.
Yeah, they had 150 kids that day.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
We'll talk about that
later. Yeah.
But that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. It's not homecoming. It's
Right.
not just
The winter
what colors are we gonna
carnival
use on
and-
the
right,
float or
exactly.
now, there is some of that because that's part of the high school experience.
That's what it was when I was in high school on student council.
But these kids
This
are
is so
also
good.
getting. You think
So
about this.
caring.
We hear so much out in the world. You see it in social media. I wish kids had these classes, or I wish kids could learn
Right.
to do that. We're doing that here
Yes,
at Kearsarge.
exactly.
These kids are having real life experiences,
Yes.
and they're able to take those skills and translate them to their world
Oh, it's
post high
incredible.
school. And
Yes.
that's what's so cool about that.
And it's not just an administrator coming in and saying, oh, our kids are great. We saw it. These kids are great.
They are.
They are really fantastic. So, Charles, thank you for all you're doing. The impact that you're having on that social emotional piece, and what a bright group of young people too. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Top to bottom, we've got great
Gosh,
kids here at Kearsarge.
it is. We do. We absolutely do. And Charles.
We got to have great leadership that helps take care of those kids. I feel
Thank
like
you.
we do that. So
Okay, I need to be selfish and ask you, because I know a lot of seniors who I had as kindergartners, as kinders. What should they be thinking about right now as they head through their senior year?
Seniors, right now, they should be thinking scholarships.
Yep,
They're
okay.
focused on the letters coming in and where they're getting into
Yes,
or not.
yes.
Focus on getting scholarship
Scholarships.
applications done, because
You got it.
cheaper that education you can get, the better.
Okay,
The
sounds
less
great.
loans that you can get, the best.
if our
Absolutely.
kids not
It's
planning
good
on going to
messaging.
college,
Yes.
we're looking at
Yeah.
quality references.
That's right.
And making sure that we have experiences that are padding resumes, so that way when they go and they have
Perfect.
interviews, they have something to leap into.
Absolutely.
Oh, high school principal, I mean, I couldn't. I
Yeah.
had to throw my 2 cents in.
Charles, I'm telling you, I know, but it's a good thing. That's why we like having you at the helm. Yeah, you should have that experience. Well, this is Cougar Chronicle. It's been a great one today, but we're not done.
Nope, we're going to come back. So unfortunately, Mr. Bissett couldn't be with us this
I
time.
know.
So
That's okay.
but we hope he's healing well. But we are going to dive in, do a little bit of
Oh,
deliberative
yes, I
session
look
recap.
forward to that,
It's
yes.
a month later. We've got some things like that.
And then, yay, we're back to...
Ask the superintendent. So it just wouldn't be another show. I told you we're back to our normal programming, so we'll expect that in. So we'll compact a whole bunch of stuff
Sounds
in
great.
the last segment, and then go from there. But
Charles, I can't thank you enough. I so enjoyed that segment with the kids. They did such a great job. So proud of all they're doing,
Yes,
and you as well.
same. Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Thank you for staying with us. We'll be back.
Right here on the Cougar Chronicle.
Welcome back to Cougar Chronicle. And so the deliberative session last month, wow.
Oh.
Wow. So 2 years ago, we had, I think, everyone in all the towns out. And a little,
A record-setting
Yes,
time.
yes.
So, jokingly, the deliberative before I started, I flew out because I wanted
Yes,
to watch what was going
yes.
on, and it was a very quick one.
Right.
And somebody had made a joke about good luck with that was the record set, and so
Yeah.
I mean we had the biggest and probably one of the longer ones
2 years ago, yes.
2 years ago, and then this year was another not necessarily the biggest as far as turnout, but another very, very important information.
Now, full disclosure, so I had a family something come up. I won't say emergency, but a family need. So for the first time in forever, I did not attend the deliberative session.
Your
And
absence was felt, just so you know.
well,
I'm gonna hold that against
I
you.
know, I felt
No.
terribly.
But the,
I always go as an observer, though. So, but I have watched it now 2.5 times
Okay.
on
It's on YCN,
YouTube.
it's
and
on
YCN.
YouTube and on the
Yep.
website.
So, wow.
An
it was
excellent,
busy.
thing. Again, so just as a recap, so we had less than a 1% increase on the budget.
Right,
So
which we knew about.
0.73%. We had a peak agreement with our paraeducators at Kearsarge.
Yes.
Those two warrants combined, if the voters approve, will make for a just over a 1.02% increase on the budget from last year. So about as flat of a budget as we
you
could
can
have
get.
gotten
Yes,
to this point.
absolutely.
Then we had 3 trust warrants, and that's where things got interesting.
Yes, they did.
So we had the board had voted to put $500,000 into the capital maintenance trust.
Right.
Which, and again, when we talk about the trust funds, the big thing people have to understand, that's not new money. So
No.
that's leftover money. Anything that's left over at the end of the year. So those trusts are our savings accounts.
Right, it was just-
and
yes.
they're not funded unless there's funds available. Now, here's
Gotcha.
also a very interesting thing. Those trusts are funded in the order that they show up on the warrant.
Okay, in the order they show, I
Yes.
didn't know that.
And so why it says,
So-
which is where you get the up to. So, so there
Okay.
was, so the first.
Think with me here.
the
Let's listen
original-
carefully.
So walk you through this.
Yeah.
So the original warrant was capital improvements.
Right.
That was a $500,000. If
Okay.
money was available there. The next warrant that was listed was the roof trust. And
Right.
The board had voted, and the NBC had approved to put
Okay.
$100,000 into the roof trust.
Okay.
The final of the 3 trust warrants
Yes.
was the special education, and so there was money going into there.
Gotcha.
So what we had happen was from the floor, somebody they amended to add another option to the roof trust.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it went. The original amount was $100,000.
Right.
What the amendment was to moving it to $2 million.
Okay.
Now, understand that, again, if those things get funded, so because of that $2 million, again, if funds are available, and what gets interesting with our charter is once you've added an amended item, then it kind of becomes an either or. So the voters will decide between $100,000 or $2 million to go into the trust. But what people were concerned is if the funds weren't available, then that special ed trust wouldn't be funded.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay, that it would be eliminated.
Again, it was hot
It
and heavy.
was- it
And
really-
so
it was
what they did
interesting.
was they voted
Yeah.
to move the warrants. So they're taking care of kids first,
Right.
then the maintenance,
Right.
then the roof.
Okay, gotcha.
So we want to
Yep.
make sure we take
Yep.
care of kids first. So,
Yes.
so if people get on our school website and look at the annual voter information, the original warrant is going to be what the original warrant was, but that's not what the order has come into. So it's been adjusted.
Okay.
But all of that stuff got worked through. So it was wonderfully robust discussions.
Oh, and if you think your voice doesn't count,
Oh, my goodness.
it does, because it was so wonderful to see everyone coming in
A lot of great
and
interaction.
just great input. And you know, it showed us not just, because I know,
Yeah.
all joking aside, you're very informed and very bright. Our school board, so informed.
Unbelievable. We've got an amazing board.
Yeah.
Our municipal budget committee
Oh,
does
wow.
such a phenomenal
Yeah.
job. And
And-
I just want to pause for a second too, and I'd like to just talk real quick about the people behind the scenes
Yes,
that put that
please.
in. I mean, when we talk about our facilities crew and our grounds people and the SAU staff, I mean,
Yes.
you talk about our clerk and our deputy clerk. I mean, there are so many moving parts,
wow.
and that thing went off
Without a
seamless.
hitch.
And
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is a direct impact with the people working behind the
It
scenes to
really
make sure we
is.
handle
Yes,
those things. So
yes.
I just want to make sure that we're thanking
Yes,
those people
yes.
directly for the work and the effort that
It's
they
true.
put in.
Yeah.
I'm not going to necessarily name them all because I was
I
told
know.
if I
You
did,
did, and
they,
you missed
they don't,
somebody,
they don't
it's
want
not
to be, well, they
kind
don't
or
want to
not
be
nice.
embarrassed.
I know,
That group,
I
but
know.
we have an unsung group of people that work tirelessly for the
Oh, and
positive
then,
impact of our
and then we
district.
had a great moderator.
Oh,
He is so good.
Eric
You
Lick
can
does such a
name
great
him. Yeah,
job.
he
He does
did.
such
He
a
was
great job.
wonderful
And
and,
so-
kept it positive
Yep.
too.
So we have that. Then the last warrant, we had talked about this. This was kind of a late addition, was the open enrollment piece.
Yes.
So RSA 194D had come in. And again, the part of the district's need for that warrant and that vote was based off of a really New Hampshire Supreme Court ruling back in
Right.
October. And so ultimately that went through different iterations, but the voting body, the deliberative body, agreed to name Kearsarge Regional High School as an open enrollment school, accepting
Yes.
30 students.
Right.
And then at this time, for open enrollment, limiting to 0%. So 30 in,
Yes.
the district is not going to be actively recruiting.
Right.
There are districts that have things on their warrants that they'll be voting on, and they've talked about actively recruiting kids from other districts.
Wow.
We will not.
Wow.
Part of again, this open enrollment thing is still very nebulous
And hard to understand, hard to sort
and
through.
we're
so
spending time on a whole
Yeah,
bunch of
I
stuff.
know,
So this
I know.
allows us time to really dig into to look what does the billing look like? Gives us time for policies?
Right.
Because now that the voters have authorized to do it, now the real work begins because we have
That's
to come
right,
up with
exactly,
policy and
exactly.
procedures for along those lines. So in all, those 6 warrants, massively robust discussion.
It was great.
Great conversations. I think the difficult questions are important
absolutely.
to be asked.
Exactly.
And we're also looking at ways, I mean, we're looking at, as we move forward into this spring, new strategic plan. We're going to have those things going.
Right,
Which is a
right.
very important thing to have happen
Right.
is kind of the direction. And as that goes, it's another opportunity, I'm excited about, because the district is going to be able to engage stakeholders. We're going to get public input and kind of see what is valuable to
That's right.
to the community.
Yes,
Because again,
yes.
it is. We talked about this from the beginning when we first met. It's the district's community,
It
or
is.
the community's district. Sorry, I had that.
I knew what you meant.
had it-
We all knew what
I
you
got it
meant.
worked
It's
out.
okay.
But because of the fact that we want that investment, because of the way, I mean, we're talking over 70% of the district's money is funded by taxpayers.
Right,
And
right.
we can go down the rabbit hole of, you know, legislation and all the things like that.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, the biggest answer that has always stuck with me was a couple of years ago, was that conversation we had. Somebody in Wilmette had asked me the question of, what am I getting for my money?
Right.
And I will tell you that really has stuck with me, and I constantly think about that is, you know, in reflecting, are we getting the best value
Right.
for our tax
taxpayers' dollars.
and
Right.
so we have those looks. So we are constantly examining things. So strategic planning becomes that real big thing. You know, the facility study is still going on, and that's happening every month.
Right.
And a lot of, I mean, there's going to have to be some very difficult conversations, because at some point, we're going to have to go back to the taxpayers and ask for their support on certain things.
That's right.
And so we're trying to make sure that the district is doing its due diligence and making informed decisions and be able to present real data to the community, and we'll see where we go from there.
Yes,
But we have
yes.
to make some decisions there.
Yes.
There's a lot of conversations about what the future of the district holds, and so I think that strategic planning will be that part.
Right, that's
When we
gonna be
get
a big
Mr.
piece.
Bissett back, we'll spend
talk
a
more
little
about
time
that.
and
Yep,
we'll
sounds
deep
good.
dive
March,
into things
April, we'll
like
talk more about that.
I think there's great opportunity. Again, I am blown away by the depth of involvement that I get to see within the district.
It's amazing.
And I truly believe that I'm absolutely the fortunate one. I'm the fortunate one, because I get to support a district and a community that has the kind of love and passion that it does for our kids.
And they do.
And so I
It's-
think that we want to do right by those folks.
Yeah. And you know, it was really demonstrated during the meeting. I really enjoyed that. So if you're like me and for whatever reason you couldn't attend the deliberative session, it was really odd not being there, by the way, but really good to be able to see it on YCN.
Well,
so,
and Greg and his crew does such a good
Oh
job
my
for putting
gosh,
these things up,
yes.
and we always appreciate that
so
relationship.
YCNnow.com, and you'll get directed to YouTube, and you can see the whole thing. And you know, for me, it was really nice to be able to watch it and to really listen, because sometimes when I'm there, I'm caught up in the whole. Like today, I've never not looked at you as much as I have today, because we're in the library at the high school, and I'm saying hello to former students and old colleagues.
Awesome.
But you know, so it was really gives you the opportunity to
Well, you
really
get to focus
listen
in and hone in,
Yes.
and pause and
Yeah.
go back and be like, what did that person say? And,
Exactly.
And what was that response? And making sure that things that make sense and they're
And they do.
consistent as we look at that stuff. And also, that video will also be posted on our school Facebook
perfect.
page as well. So there'll be a number of different
Good.
ways to engage
Okay.
with it as we go from
That's
there.
great.
So
So now it's time.
I know,
Yeah.
that's the superintendent, and I've been. It's a new year, so it's a new me.
Oh, he's all excited. He said, I
Ready
really
roll.
want to do
well,
this.
Here's the thing. You think about this, like, the Ask the Superintendent segment questions have been wonderful and a great opportunity, I
have
hope, for people to kind of get a glimpse in. But we get hit with tough questions at board meetings and a
Right.
deliberative and things like that, so it's just another extension. Anytime that we have the opportunity to present information to the public that's front-facing,
Absolutely.
that's factual, that it can give a insight into why or what or how, absolutely worth the time.
Okay.
So I'm going to, my New Year's resolution was to kind of lean into this thing, and I'm going to fake it till I make it.
Okay, so this is a Laura question. Okay, so we just had the principal from the high school, Charles, was here.
Yes.
And we were talking about the social emotional piece.
Yes.
And how competency-based learning ties in with that. Okay, about how really having the students be engaged. You know, Steve Patterson was talking about that, and taking on activities that they want to do. How do you respond to parents who still are resistant to understanding, you know, how the competencies translate to number grades?
Ooh, and that's a constant communication battle.
It is. It's a big one.
I think part of it is the biggest piece about getting into it is competency-based education is built around the philosophy of kids demonstrating what they know and what they can do.
Yes.
We all you and I grew up in a world where
numbers,
where
letters.
numbers matters and things like, not to say that the numbers don't matter, but it's how are we assessing? They talk about the idea of assessing. How are you demonstrating your knowledge?
That's right.
I gave you an example. Best example is explained is a personal one for me. So my son in Missouri passed Algebra 1 because he brought in Kleenex and got bonus points.
Wow.
So the grade he got, now, not the shiniest, not the most proud father moment as we look at things like that.
I know.
But that's the example of things like that is some of the old school mentality is built around the idea of how kids play school versus competency-based is the mindset around
understanding concepts, right?
And what can kids demonstrate that they truly know and can apply. So it's a little bit of a different piece. Obviously, when we talk about it from a secondary high school level, high school principal, put my old hat on, the big question is, does this move have a negative impact on my college-bound
That's exactly the question.
Is this going to have a negative impact on my kid's ability to get scholarships, as you heard Charles says? We focus on that.
But it doesn't.
And it really doesn't. And
those student council kids, they're going to great schools.
And they're doing wonderful stuff.
Because they chose to go to college.
Yes. And again, but we can always, and we've talked about this before, we always need to do a better job of communicating and trying to get our own pieces together. Part of the battle and the struggle, and we talked about with Mr. Patterson about this, is reporting this information out in a way that parents can understand it.
Okay.
And so how do we build these robust conversations, and how do we have these tools and these mechanisms that really allow parents to look at a report card and look at their student and say, talk to me about what you're learning.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of education that has to happen for our own staff because it's a transition for them.
Sure.
But it's also, not that you're debunking old educational models, but you think about this, that it's a bit of a shift. Even though it's 10 years old in New Hampshire, it's still not everybody's at the same level.
Absolutely.
And so as our middle school jumped on the full philosophy, high school has embraced things, and with student support and student help, we're getting better at it.
Okay.
And so it's a lot of it is education, and as always, it's open door opportunities. It's when can we have these conversations? When can we talk to parents about it? Being willing to address those things. I always would encourage parents to engage with their child's teachers, or their ask questions of the school counselors, or talk to the principals.
Right.
I know the high school has has built a great website.
They have. They really have. Yeah. Check it out.
With the grading and things like that. But even I think some of the hardest part about it is, it's the edu-speak. It's any industry. Any industry has its own acronyms, and it's like its own language. So it's trying to get it set up in a way that's digestible. What is this? These things mean to the person who's not living in this every day. And so I think it's just continuing conversations, continuing to really try to make sure that we're messaging it correctly, that we're putting more information out, and we'll continue to do that.
And knowing that a lot of schools have moved to this model. Yeah. So, and the colleges are understanding that too.
And a lot of colleges are moving that way too.
Absolutely. I was shocked.
Mr. Bissett was talking before about his daughter graduated from nursing school.
Yes.
And her boards were competency-based.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
Because no offense, I would want to know that somebody that's going to be putting a needle in my arm has shown competency and proficiency in those things.
And
so, and then along those lines of the idea of the social emotional stuff that come with that. There's a lot of different philosophy with that. But you look at with that, I would always lean to our portrait of a student, which talks about being curious, being caring, and being conscientious. And what do those things mean? And so those three pieces make for great citizens.
And great students.
Yes.
Yeah, we did. So the superintendent and I have just gone on and on and on. But I think after that deliberative session, after the guests we had, and I was so charged by the students today. Yeah, so thank you.
That's the piece I missed the most
about
my old office being in the high school.
Yeah, I know. Brings you great joy. It really does. So listen, we're so glad you joined us. This was a very content-driven show once again.
Yes,
wasn't it?
Great stuff. But
I know.
A big variety. Get some young people in. We got some great conversations going on, and I think a really great recap of what we've seen from just some of the phenomenal things that happen here in the district and the communities.
So we wish you a happy winter, happy February. We'll be back in March.
Absolutely.
Right, as the weather probably will still be, churning around a little bit.
Don't use the S word. We're avoiding the S word. I'm still trying to enjoy the weather.
So happy Valentine's Day, my friend.
Thanks so much.
Yes.
I appreciate you.
Okay, we'll be right here and see you in March on
the Cougar Chronicle.